We are no longer stuck in Vermont. We are in Lyme, New Hampshire. We're at the Kilham Bear Center. For almost 30 years, they have been rehabilitating orphaned, injured, and abandoned black bear cubs and releasing them back into the wild. We're going to talk to Ben Kilham, his nephew Ethan, and his wife Debbie about the work they do.
You know, people need to respect bears and learn everything they can about them. You know, I've written 2 books, I lecture, I've given over 600 public lectures.
Ben Kilham is an internationally renowned expert on black bears, and he has changed our understanding of the majestic animals. You know, you've done so many media and talk shows, and didn't you do David Letterman?
Yeah, I did David Letterman. That was weird.
You have to see Pandas. It's a wonderful film.
That's right. You can see Ben in this film, showing researchers how to prepare captively bred pandas for release into the wild.
Well, I hope the message is getting out, and that's why you keep doing interviews. It's a whole family effort. Right now we only have 1 employee, and that's Ethan.
I am the primary caregiver for all the cubs who come to the center.
We have a couple volunteers, and that's myself and Debbie. Debbie does all the paperwork associated with a nonprofit, which is huge.
Well, I sort of do a little bit of everything, but I also go out and pick up kibble and bits and corn, and they need to eat a lot, and they need a lot of apples.
Tend to be an introvert, so it just happens that I spend most of my time with bears these days.
Ethan started the Instagram post. You know, he's young enough to understand how that works.
Share the cub's life experience without being overly intrusive, because we're a rehab facility and all these bears are going to be released, so people can't come here, so it's nice to bring the bears to them.
Those shots he's getting, that's what a bear is really like. It's not this awful beast that everybody imagines in their head.
6 to 8 of them come on regular walks with me. It's their choice. These days, they take me on a walk.
I think the public needs to know that they're very intelligent animals. I think the public needs to realize that they're probably more afraid of us than we are of them.
So there's definitely a connection you have with being around another animal that can show you its own intelligence, and it's a different intelligence than yours, so in that way it's humbling and also very enlightening.
You know, bears, I find them very predictable. They're nice to be around. I'm always learning something. As I say, I go up to my study site every night.
Gentle Ben, I think that's what they compare him to, yeah. I get very excited. He's very calm, so he's great. He and Ethan are great around the bears.
Yeah, they can go wild, a lot of banging around. It began back with my dad, Lawrence Kilham, who was a virologist at the Dartmouth Medical School. He studied birds as an avocation, doing life histories. And I'm dyslexic, and I could do what he was doing. My sister Phoebe and I became wildlife rehabilitators. My dad pretty much infected us with natural history, and there was no formal rehabilitation of black bears. All of them thought that bears were dangerous and unpredictable. Then I started seeing the first cubs I walked. I started seeing things that told me that everything that science had been saying about bears was wrong. They were not solitary animals. They were actually social animals, and they actually knew all the other bears in the area. Bears can meet up with another bear they've never met before, single. They want to be friends, wrestle, and share. So the bears are actually more representative of how we became human than any other non-human animal. The main bear that I have written about is a bear named Squirty that came to me as a 3-pound cub. I walked her loose in the wild. She became wild and released her on a piece of property that I own. She became the dominant female in the area. She shared a greater home range with daughters and granddaughters. She's 26 years old, 26 and a half years old, and still alive, and I still see her. She treats me like a bear, which means I have to obey her rules. There's judgment and punishment, and I observe it between bears and between her and myself.
He's getting his ears suckled on.
Oh, I've been hurt lots of times. Bears bite.
Well, they're born with claws and they're born with teeth, and they use their mouths as a 5th appendage. So, but in general, they're very discerning and gentle creatures. So
This year we got 2 from Connecticut for the first time. We get them from Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire.
we have 5 yearlings and 37 cubs born this year.
So we release our cubs at 18 months, the same age the mother kicks them out. They're capable of making friends in the wild. They're social learners, so they learn very quickly. The states take them back, and in general, we're told by the biologists that they do not get in conflict situations.
We've been very successful in the bear releases that we've had. They've not been nuisance bears, as the state would call them. They've survived fairly long times, and they've traveled pretty far from their release sites. So it's really very interesting work.
You know, people really need to make an effort to learn to coexist with bears.
Unfortunately, bear incidents are on the rise in Vermont.
Chickens are the biggest problem right now. Probably half of our cubs are the result of a homeowner shooting a bear at a chicken coop. Somebody buys a piece of land at the edge of the forest and puts up a home, that's a bear's home range. And suddenly they have chickens and bees and all these attractions, so they're putting up bird feeders.
I would really recommend that people who live near the forest, in the forest, understand that bears were there first, and we need to respect that and learn how to live with them.
But they're an animal we can definitely coexist with. They're not dangerous. They have no interest in humans. They only have interest in our food.
They're sentient beings who are trying to live complicated lives just like humans.
I've only been on a few releases, but usually the bears are super ready to go, and they just bolt right out of the cage. Sometimes they stop and look back as if to say, thank you, but I'm out of here. And they take off and they disappear into the woods. It's a good feeling, it's gratifying.
Check out the whole animal issue this week in 7 days, and we will get stuck in Vermont or New Hampshire with you again real soon. So the website is not up to date because it says 350 on the website. So
Yeah.
Over 400.
No, we're always behind the times with websites and stuff. No, it's over 4. Every year there's another 40 or 50 that go out.
And so since 1993, is that right?
Yep.
So 29 years. So
I round up to 30, but
I think, yeah.